YTPC, I am back. As you can tell by the get-up, the weather has cooled down significantly for a couple of days. Hopefully it lasts for a little bit longer. I'm not ready for the muggy humidity and sort of 85, 90 degree weather and sun beating down on me just yet. I got a job, and to celebrate that, I'm gonna crack open the tin of apricots and cream, and I'm gonna show you guys a new pipe. Before we do that, the record of the day is D12 World by D12. Now, this album is executive produced by Eminem, so you know it's going to be good. And Eminem is one of the members of D12. D12 stands for the Dirty Dozen. It's that because there are 6 of them, the 6 members, and each of them has an alter ego. Eminem's is Slim Shady, and then everyone else has their alter egos. This is sort of Eminem's band, you can call it, quote unquote. In one of the songs they go, "We ain't a band, bitch, we don't play instruments." So take that as you will. It's mostly gangster rap. As you can tell, they have the world in their hands. And if you're gonna listen to any tracks, let them be Get Up or My Band. So Get Up is pure gangster. You will not like it if you don't like violence. And My Band is incredibly humorous, but you probably won't get it unless you know a little bit about Eminem and his past career. So, my job. Here we go. We're gonna crack this one open. Wow, that smells a lot like apricot. Wow. I had a hookah tobacco that smelled like this. Oh, that's really, really nice. So the pipe I'm gonna pack today actually came for free with a pouch, a decent weight pouch. It came with some accessories like pipe cleaners, filters, and interestingly, it came with this. It's a pipe stand that has a check tool built into it. I don't think it's an authentic check tool, but it should be fine. I have some knockoff check tools, they work for me just fine. We're gonna do that. So I found a job, but not in the way that I expected. So I expected to be, applying to a whole bunch of different places, and getting rejected for the next few weeks, until my dad shared something with me. My dad's a pediatrician, he's a medical director, and he owns 2 offices. And he told me something very interesting. Our system administrator, who does all the IT for the office, who builds and installs all the computers and maintains them, we have servers running, we have a whole bunch of network stuff that has to do with medical stuff and electronic health records. He's in charge of all of that. He decided that he wants to retire at the end of this year. And I am not the type of person to ask my dad for a job. He supported me in everything I've ever wanted to do regarding education. He sent me to school for audio engineering when I thought that was what I wanted to do. And when I quit on that, he didn't bat an eye at the money that it cost. Just as long as I'm in charge of my destiny, as long as I'm in charge of my future and doing what I want to do, he's cool with it. He'll support me. I didn't ask him for a job. Our system administrator asked for me. He asked for me personally, which is something that I feel incredibly proud of. I'll explain how that happened. Tasty. Back when I was 16, I started working at my dad's office as a transcriptionist. I was translating the doctor scribbles on the charts into stuff that we can type into an electronic health record database. and I was translating it from English, Russian, and we had a doctor who sometimes wrote in French just to be, just to be extra. And they stuck me somewhere that they were like, okay, this kid's coming in like t-shirt and shorts sometimes. Let's stick him somewhere where the patients can't see him. So they put me with the system administrator, Lonnie. We were sort of ensconced somewhere on the second floor in the back of the building. And we would talk. He would put on music and I would vibe with it. It was mostly guitar music and I enjoyed it. And we would get to talking. And I told him about what I was doing in high school at the time. I went to Brooklyn Technical High School, which has a major system just like colleges do. They stick you in a major depending on your scores on certain examinations, and they put me in the computer science major, we'll call it talent. So I was a computer talent. And we would be going back and forth. He would be talking about like, oh, there's this thing and everybody's got these problems with their computers, and I would be like, well, yeah, they're not using ad blockers and they're going from one shopping site to the next. Obviously, they're loading up temporary files. It's going to be slow. And he was just like, oh, you know what that is? And like, this is elementary. So we got to talking even back then, and I'm pretty sure he understood then that I knew what I was talking about, when it came to computers. But more than that, he doesn't speak Russian and I do, and most of our patients and staff are Russian speakers. That's their mother language. Along with the fact that it's my dad primarily who pays for all the technical stuff, all the IT stuff. And he's the one who makes all those decisions. So Lonnie asked for me personally because I fit all the criteria. I would be better at speaking to the staff than he ever was. I would gel with my father better than he did. They are great friends, but it's not a father and son thing for sure. And then on the technical side, there's really not a whole lot that he has to teach me, just like the particular programs, really. The architectural stuff, I know all about it. The general gist of what I would have to do and how to keep computers connected and running, and all the minor stuff that they're like, oh my god, it's the end of the world, my computer doesn't want to load this. It's like, for us, it's a 30-second fix. So regarding all of that stuff, I see why he picked me. And the second my dad told me that, I was like, listen. Oh, actually, he didn't tell me that Lonnie wanted me at first. What he said was, Lonnie's planning to retire at the end of the year. How would you feel about being trained to take his spot? And I was like, look, if Lonnie wants me, I'll go. I'll do it, if it's okay with him. I didn't find out till later that Lonnie has been asking my dad about this for most of this last year. He's been planning to retire since the beginning of the year, and because I was in school finishing up my political science degree, nobody told me about it. But he had been twisting people's arms at the office. Not just my dad that works there, he employs my aunt and my uncle from my mother's side of my family as well. He was Lonnie was twisting their arms as well about like, hey, can you talk to Robert, see if he wants to do this, because I want to leave and he's the one I want. I didn't know about any of that until basically the last couple of days. So I came in yesterday. I spoke with him. We sat down at the station. We went through a couple of what-if scenarios just to make sure I have my head screwed on straight. And he gave me my first assignment, which is to build the Windows computer that I would be using over there at the office. Which I can build computers just fine. The only issue was selecting the components, and we had slight differences about how far into the future we should be thinking with this particular machine. I was building it for 15 years, and he kind of throttled me back and was like, let's go for a 10-year build. So it ended up being a little bit less expensive, but I reminded him that actually the operational cost per year technically would be a little bit higher with the way that he wants to do it. So that's our first argument, essentially. So that's the job, system administrator of a pediatrics office. Most of my work would be remotely going in and just making sure that everything is kind of working. I would be checking remotely. I'd be looking at every printer that we have across 2 offices, one in Brooklyn, one in Staten Island. I can check the toner level of any printer that we have on our network. I can tell if something needs to be replaced in a printer. I can tell if the computers are, hacked or whatever. We have malware bites to take care of that. I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty of it all, but one of you must have been praying for me, because this is the most perfect outcome I could possibly imagine. I would be working, like, I lost a job that I thought I was perfect for, and the job, I didn't end up choosing a job. That I just got, this ended up choosing me, which I feel is like even better almost, right? Like, being the personal choice of such a talented and dedicated professional. So he's been with us for more than 30 years, longer than I've been alive. I'm 30 years old. He'd been working at that office since about 1990 or like the late 80s, when my grandmother built the office, and all these people set it up. Lonnie is one of the oldest employees that's there. And obviously a lot of other people want to retire too. We still have a lot of the same staff from back then. So they started when they were 30, 35, back in the late 80s, early 90s, and now they're in their 60s and mid 60s. Some of them are in their 70s. I'm able to enjoy a pipe today, and I haven't smoked since the last video, because pipe smoking is not for people who are engaged in horizontal thinking in the moment of smoking. What I mean by horizontal thinking is you take the same step and have to think about different places where it's going to go. I was writing resumes and cover letters for all these different jobs, and I've been having to think about different places to apply. And that's not like, that's not the state of mind in which I can enjoy a smoke. I can enjoy a smoke when I'm engaged in vertical thinking, which is taking one topic and going as deep as possible into it. So now that I'm thinking about how I would set up my office desk, what would go in the drawers, I'm thinking about how I would remote access the computer with the computer I have at home. I'm thinking about the computers that we have in the office and at what point they're gonna fail. I feel like this is slightly more vertical. It's still slightly horizontal, but it's more vertical than thinking about 100 different places to apply to get a job. So that's where I'm at today. I think this vertical thinking is something that you guys do all the time. I'm sure that that's one of the reasons that a lot of you are into pipe smoking in the first place. If I remember correctly, Pipe Philosophy did a video recently where he talked about what did he talk about? He talked about the ritual around tobacco pipes. Now, I'll forgive him for not liking corn cobs. That's a totally subjective thing. But that ritual aspect of a pipe, that is vertical thinking. It's, you take a process and you go all the way through it, as deep as it goes. So you grab your pipe out of wherever it is, clean it out if it isn't clean, you pick a tobacco, you load the tobacco, you pack however many pinches you pack, you tap it down with your finger, go outside or wherever you smoke it and light it, keep it lit, enjoy it, ponder a little bit. This is tasty tobacco. It's nice on the swallow too. So that's what I think the connection is between pipe smoking and vertical thinking. I think about, Tolkien and other famous pipe smokers. Stalin, unfortunately, also. They were doing the same thing, kind of, sort of. Tolkien was seeing what kind of a world he could build on a page, and going through all the different environments, different characters, the languages, and the depth and the attention to detail to all that. And then you had Stalin doing something similar, except he was planning and plotting ways of, destroying hundreds of thousands and then millions of lives in order to continue the illusion of the greatness of the Soviet style of communism. If I remember correctly, Stalin took Balkan Sobrania, and he would unroll the cigarettes, take them apart, and stuff his pipe full with them. Got a really beautiful sunset going on over there. It's a very clear day. It's been humid for the most part. You couldn't really see Manhattan for the last few days, but it's there. Well, I guess that's probably enough for today's little check-in. I don't have more topics than that. If you're still with me, thank you for sticking around. I hope you have a safe, pleasant, positive night or day, whenever you might be watching this. Take care of yourselves. Thank you.